Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to VUS Learning English Podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here with me today. Today, we are going to talk about something very important. We will talk about 12 big truths for our lives. Sometimes the truth can feel a little bit difficult to hear, but these truths are not here to make you sad. They are here to help you. They are like a friendly guide, a guide to help you live a happier and more peaceful life. Thank you so much for joining me today. Your time is a gift, and I am grateful you are sharing it with me. If you enjoy our time together, please think about giving this a like or a follow. It is a small click for you, but it is a big help for our channel. It helps us reach more English learners around the world. It helps our little community grow. And before we start, I have a question for you. Where are you listening from today? Are you in your home? Are you on a bus? Are you in a beautiful country far away? I would love to know. You can write it in the comments below. I love reading about where all my friends are. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin our journey together. Truth number 1. New things give us happiness for a short time. Let's start with our first truth. In our modern life, we often hear a message. The message is, if you get something new, you will be happy. We tell ourselves stories. I will be happy. When I get a promotion at work, I will be happy. When I buy a new house, I will be happy. When I have more money. This way of thinking is like a trap. It feels true, but it is not the whole story. There is a name for this idea in psychology. It is called hedonic adaptation. That sounds like a big, difficult word. But the idea is very simple. It means we are very good at getting used to things. We can get used to good things, and we can get used to bad things. Imagine you work very hard for a long time to get something. Maybe it is a new phone. Maybe it is a new jacket. Maybe it is a new job title. When you finally get it, you feel a rush of happiness. You feel wonderful. You feel like you are on top of the world. But this happy feeling is temporary. It has an expiration date. Like milk, it does not last forever. There are famous studies about people who win the lottery. They win millions of dollars. At first, they are extremely happy. It is a dream come true. But after some time, maybe 6 months or 1 year, something amazing happens. Their happiness level goes back. It goes back to the same level it was before they won. They just have more money, and often they have new problems. This is because our brains like to have a baseline, a normal, stable level of happiness. This was very helpful for our ancestors. Long ago. It helped them feel okay after something bad happened. It helped them keep going. But in our world today, it can be a problem. We see new things all the time. On social media, we see what other people have. We always want more. We want the next thing. We think the next thing will finally make us happy forever. So we work very hard. We get the thing we want. We feel a short burst of joy. Then the joy fades, and we start looking for the next thing. It is a cycle, a never-ending treadmill. You run and run, but you stay in the same place. I remember a time in my own life. For many years, my biggest dream was to publish a book. I thought about it every day. I worked on it for a very long time. I imagined the day the book would be in stores. I thought that day would change my life forever. I thought I would feel a permanent kind of happiness. I thought I would finally feel like I had arrived. And then the day came. My book was published. For about 48 hours, it felt exactly like my dream. I was so proud. I was so happy. But then Monday morning came. My email inbox was full of work. I still had to think about what to make for dinner. The big feeling of success started to fade. It became quiet background noise in my normal everyday life. My baseline of happiness did not really change. I was still me. I still had my same worries. I still had my same insecurities. I was just me, but with a book. So here's the important truth. You cannot achieve your way to lasting happiness. Chasing things on the outside to feel good on the inside is like drinking salt water. It makes you more thirsty. The answer is not to stop achieving things. Goals are good, but we must change the reason we do them. Instead of chasing feelings that disappear, we can invest in things that grow. Things like learning a new skill, or building deep, loving relationships with friends and family, or helping others, or creating a life with many different experiences. These things give a slow, steady feeling of joy, not just a quick, temporary rush. It is time to stop running on the treadmill. It is time to get off and walk on your own beautiful path. Truth number 2, don't wait for motivation. Decide to start. How many times have you said something like this? I don't feel motivated to exercise today. Or, I will start that big project when I feel inspired. We often treat motivation like magic. We think it is a special feeling that must come to us, like lightning from the sky. We wait. We wait to feel ready. We wait for the feeling. This is one of the biggest traps for our dreams. It stops us before we even start. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change all the time. Motivation is a chemical reaction in your brain. It changes with your mood. It changes with your energy level. It changes if you slept well or not. It changes for 1,000 different reasons you cannot control. If you only do important things when you feel motivated, you will not be consistent. You will be a victim of your own feelings. One day, you watch a powerful video online. You feel like you can do anything. You are full of fire and energy. The next day, you wake up and feel tired. The fire is gone. You don't feel like doing anything. This is normal. Feelings come and go like clouds in the sky. Commitment, however, is different. Commitment is not a feeling. Commitment is a decision. It is a promise you make to your future self. It is a rule you create for yourself. A rule that works even when you don't feel like it. Motivation can be the little spark that starts a fire. But commitment is the wood that keeps the fire burning. It keeps the fire burning through the cold night. It keeps the fire burning when the wind and rain come. Think about a professional artist. Does an artist only paint when they feel inspired? Of course not. If they did, they might only paint one picture a year. A professional artist commits to a schedule. They decide to paint every morning. They sit down and do the work, even on days when they feel empty, even on days when they have no ideas. They know a secret. Action comes before motivation. The act of doing the work is what creates the feeling of inspiration. You start. and then you feel good, you don't wait to feel good to start. This is not just a nice idea. It is science. Your brain can change. It's called neuroplasticity. Every time you do something, you make a path in your brain stronger. It is like walking on grass. The first time, you make a small path. If you walk on it every day, the path becomes clear and easy to follow. When you make yourself go for a walk even when you are tired, you are building a new path in your brain. You are making it easier to go for a walk next time. You are building a habit. Commitment is the choice to build that habit. You choose to repeat the action again and again, no matter what the voice of motivation says. I learned this with my own health. For many years, I was a motivation seeker. I wanted to get in shape. I would get excited. I would buy new workout clothes. I would join a gym. I would go every day for 2 weeks. I felt so motivated. Then life would get busy. I would miss one day at the gym, then another. The motivated feeling would fade away, and I would stop going completely for many months. This cycle repeated again and again for years. I felt stuck. The change happened when I stopped waiting for the feeling. I made a new rule, a very simple promise to myself. It was not negotiable. The rule was, I will put on my running shoes and go outside for 15 minutes. Every single day, no matter what. Even if I just walked slowly. The goal was not have a great workout. The goal was show up. Just start. And a funny thing happened. Once I was outside and walking, I often felt better. I would start to feel some energy. And many times I would end up running for 30 or 40 minutes. The simple act of starting created its own energy. It created its own motivation. I had stopped depending on a feeling. I started depending on my decision. So please stop waiting for motivation. It is not a reliable friend. It will visit you, but it will also leave you. Instead, decide what is important to you. Make a real, simple promise to yourself. Then build a system that does not need your feelings to work. Your feelings can be in the car with you, but they are not the driver. You are the driver. You have the steering wheel. That is the difference between a beginner and a pro. Truth number 3, your space is stronger than your willpower. We often have a heroic idea about willpower. We think willpower is a kind of magic power inside us. We think we can use it to fight any temptation, to resist any bad habit. We think if we just try harder, we can say no to the cake. We can stop scrolling on our phones. We can do anything we want. But here is a very important truth. Your willpower is not infinite. It is like a muscle. It can get tired. It is a small battery that can run out of power. And when your willpower fights against your environment almost always wins. Your environment is the space around you, your room, your kitchen, your desk. Your brain is very smart. It loves to be efficient. It loves to save energy. So it creates shortcuts. It responds to things it sees around you. It does this automatically. You don't even have to think about it. Imagine you keep a box of cookies on your kitchen table. Every time you walk into the kitchen, you see the cookies. Your brain sees them too. When your brain sees the cookies, it sends a little signal, a little message of desire. Cookies. The first time, you are strong. You say, "No, I will not eat a cookie." You use a little bit of your willpower battery. You walk by again an hour later. You see the cookies again. Your brain sends another signal. You say no again. You use a little more of your willpower battery. This happens 10 times during the day. By the evening, you are tired. You had a long, difficult day at work. Your willpower battery is very low. You walk into the kitchen one more time. You see the cookies. Your defenses are down. The cookie wins. Was this a failure of your willpower? Not really. It was a failure of design. You designed your environment to make it hard to succeed. The most successful people do not have more willpower than you. They have smarter environments. They build smarter spaces. They understand the secret. The easiest way to change your behavior is to change your environment. Make good habits easy and obvious. Make bad habits difficult and invisible. Here's a story from my own life. I used to have a very bad habit with my phone. The first thing I did every morning was check my phone. It was right next to my bed on my nightstand. I would wake up and immediately fall into a world of emails, news, and social media. It was a terrible way to start the day. My mind was filled with other people's plans and problems. I had no quiet time for my own thoughts. I tried to use willpower. I told myself, tomorrow I will not look at my phone in the morning. This plan lasted for about 2 days. My willpower was not strong enough. The real change came when I redesigned my environment. I bought a very simple, cheap alarm clock, and I started charging my phone in a different room at night. I charged it in the living room. Suddenly, the problem was gone. The cue, the thing that started the habit, was gone. The phone was not on my nightstand anymore. The bad habit was now difficult. To check my phone, I had to get out of my warm bed and walk to another room. And I put something else on my nightstand. I put a book there. So the good habit became the easy choice. The good habit became the path of least resistance. My mornings were completely different, not because I had more discipline, but because I had a better design. This idea works for everything in your life. Do you want to drink more water? Put a big, beautiful bottle of water on your desk where you can see it. Do you want to watch less television? Make it difficult. Put the remote control in a drawer in another room. Do you want to learn to play the guitar? Make it easy and obvious. Take the guitar out of its case. Put it on a stand in the middle of your room. You will see it every day. You're the architect of your own life. You design your world. Stop trying to fight a war against your own environment. It is a war you will probably lose. Instead, become a master of your space. Create a world around you that helps you become your best self. A world that supports your goals. Willpower is for difficult moments. Environmental design is for every day. Truth number 4, you are a story. You can write a new one. Right now at this very moment, there is a story in your mind. It is a story about who you are. This story started when you were a child. You have been building it your whole life. It is made from many different things. It is made from things your parents said to you. It is made from things that happened at school. It is made from your successes. And it is made from your failures. Even small comments from strangers can become a part of your story. This story in your head has many sentences. Sentences like, I am not good at math. I am a shy person. I always procrastinate. I always wait until the last minute. Now, here is the important and powerful truth. That story in your head feels 100% true. It feels like a fact. But it is not a fact. It is a script. A script you have practiced for a long time. And your brain works very hard every single day to make your life match that script. Your brain wants your story to be true. This happens because of something called confirmation bias. Another big word, but a simple idea. It just means your brain loves to be right. It does not like to be wrong. It does not like to feel confused. So, once you believe something about yourself, your brain becomes a detective. It looks for evidence. It looks for proof that your story is true. At the same time, it ignores any evidence that your story is not true. Let's imagine your story is, I am socially awkward. I am not good with people. You go to a party. Your brain is on high alert. It is looking for proof. You see one person who quickly looks away from you. Proof. Your brain says, see? People don't want to talk to you. You have a conversation and there's a small, quiet moment. Proof. Your brain says, see? You are bad at conversations. Your brain collects all this proof. It puts it in a file called evidence that I am awkward. But at the same party, maybe 3 people smiled at you. Maybe you had a wonderful, interesting 10-minute conversation with someone new. Your brain ignores this. This information does not fit the story. It does not fit the script. So your brain throws it away. You are not just seeing reality. You are building your own reality based on your story. This is why people feel stuck in life. They think their problems are who they are. But really, their problems are just a story they tell themselves again and again. I once knew a man who was sure he was a terrible public speaker. His story was, when I speak in front of people, I get nervous, my mind goes blank, and I talk in circles. He had to give a very big presentation at his job. He was very scared. He prepared for many weeks. He knew all the information perfectly. He stood up to speak. For the first 30 seconds, his voice was shaking a little bit, just a little. But then for the next 20 minutes, he was amazing. He was clear. He was confident. He was powerful. Everyone was very impressed. But what do you think he said to me after? He sat down and he said, "See, I told you I was a mess up there. My voice was shaking at the beginning." He ignored the 20 minutes of success. He ignored 98% of the evidence. And he focused only on the 30 seconds of shaking. He focused on the 2% of evidence that proved his story was true. His identity as a bad public speaker was more real to him than his own great performance. The most wonderful and also scary thing to know is this: you can edit your story. You have the power to write a new one. It is not easy because you have many years of proof that your old story is true. The first step is to just see the story as a story, not as a fact. Start to question it. Look for evidence against it. If your story is, I am a procrastinator, can you find one time you did something early? Just one time. Then start small. Write a new sentence for your story. Instead of, I am a procrastinator, you can try a new story. I am a person who is practicing doing small things now. Then find one small piece of evidence to support your new story. Maybe you wash one dish right after you use it. That is evidence. You are practicing. Your old story is like a deep path in a forest. Your brain loves to walk on that path because it is easy. Creating a new story is like cutting a new path. It is hard at first. But every time you act in a way that matches your new story, you make the new path a little bit clearer, a little bit deeper. Eventually, the new path becomes the easy path. It becomes your new normal. You are the writer of your story. Stop reading the old script. It is time to pick up the pen and write a better one. Truth number 5. The pain of doing is small. The pain of not doing is big. This is a truth that many of us learn too late in life. When we are young, we often choose the easy path. We choose the comfortable way. We choose the comfort of sitting on the sofa over the discomfort of going for a walk. We choose the quick happiness of buying something new over the long-term safety of saving money. We choose the safety of being quiet over the risk of sharing our ideas. In each moment, we choose what feels good right now. Each choice seems very small. What is one missed workout? What is one evening of scrolling on social media instead of reading a book? It feels like nothing. But that these small, easy choices add up. They compound over time. They are like small bricks. And day by day, we use these bricks to build a prison for our future selves. The ability to choose a better reward tomorrow over a good reward today is very important. It is called delayed gratification. It is one of the best signs of future success and happiness. There was a famous study with children many years ago. You might have heard of it. The marshmallow study. Scientists gave a young child one marshmallow. They told the child, "You can eat this one marshmallow right now. Or you can wait for 15 minutes. If you wait, you will get a second marshmallow. So, one treat now or 2 treats later." Some children ate the one marshmallow immediately. Other children were able to wait. They resisted. They waited for the bigger reward. Years later, the scientists followed up with these children. The children who were able to wait for the second marshmallow were more successful in many areas of their lives. They had better health. They had more successful jobs. They understood from a young age a very important lesson. A little bit of sacrifice now can lead to a big reward later. Discipline is the power that helps us delay gratification. And discipline can feel like pain. It is not easy. It is the pain of waking up early when your bed is warm. It is the pain of doing one more push-up when your arms are tired. It is the pain of saving that extra 10% of your money instead of spending it. This pain is sharp. It is immediate, but it is manageable. It is light. It weighs ounces. Regret, on the other hand, is a different kind of pain. Regret is a heavy, chronic, deep pain in your soul. It is the pain of looking in the mirror when you are 50 years old and not recognizing the unhealthy person you see. It is the pain of getting older with no savings, feeling scared and worried all the time. It is the pain of being at the end of your life and thinking about all the things you did not do, all the chances you did not take, the person you could have become but did not. That pain weighs tons. It is the heaviest feeling a person can carry. Imagine 2 different futures. In the first future, you choose discipline. You choose to feel the small, daily, ounce-sized pains of doing the hard things. Over time, you build a strong body. You build a sharp mind. You build financial freedom. In the second future, you choose comfort. You always avoid the small pains of discipline, but over the years, that comfort becomes a cage, a prison of regret. You're left with a weak body, an unfulfilled mind, and constant worry. A friend of mine wanted to learn a new language for many years. He always talked about his dream to live and work in another country. But the discipline of practicing for 30 minutes a day felt too hard. It felt like a chore. It was just easier to watch another show on Netflix. Now 10 years have passed. An opportunity came for him to work abroad. It was his dream job. But he could not take it. He did not have the language skills. The ounces of pain he avoided for years have been replaced. They have been replaced by the tons of regret he feels every single day. The comfort he chose was the most expensive thing he ever bought. Every day you have a choice. You choose between two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One is a small investment in your future. The other is a heavy debt that will crush you later. Choose the ounce. The ton will break you. Truth number 6. The world sees what you do, not what you can do. This can be a hard truth to hear, especially if people always told you that you were gifted as a child or that you had so much potential. Maybe you have a brilliant idea for a new business. Maybe you have a natural talent to be a wonderful artist. Maybe you have the potential to be a great leader. The world does not care. Let me explain this more gently. Your mother cares. Your best friends care. They might tell you how amazing your potential is. But the world outside of your loving circle, the real world, the market, it does not run on potential. It runs on execution. It runs on what you actually do. Your potential is like energy stored in a battery. It is powerful, but it is worthless until you use it. You have to connect the battery to something. You have to convert the potential into real output. We all know someone like this. Let's call him Idea Person. Idea Person is very smart. At every dinner, at every party, they talk about their next big idea. A new app that will change the world. A novel that will be a bestseller. A business plan that cannot fail. And they are very good at talking. Their potential feels real. It feels infinite. But years pass. And Idea Person is still in the same job, still talking about the same ideas, with nothing real to show for it. This person is in love with the idea of their potential, but they are afraid of the reality of doing the work. Why? Because doing the work or execution is messy. It is difficult. It is where you have to face the real world. You face judgment. You face criticism. And you face the very real possibility of failure. As long as your perfect idea is only in your head, it is safe. It is flawless. But the moment you try to make it real, the moment you write the first sentence of your book, the moment you make the first phone call for your business, it becomes imperfect. And that is scary. So it feels safer to just stay a person of potential. The brutal truth is that potential can be a trap. It can be a form of self-delusion. It lets you feel the good feeling of achievement without ever doing the hard work. It is like a warm, comfortable blanket that stops you from growing. The world only gives rewards for what is finished. The world does not give you a prize for the book you were going to write. It does not give you money for the company you were thinking about starting. The value is not in the idea itself. The value is in the messy, brave, difficult process of making the idea real. Think about it like this. When you go to a restaurant, what do you pay for? Do you pay for the chef's potential to cook a great meal? No. You pay for the meal that is on the plate in front of you. When you hire someone for a job, what do you pay them for? Do you pay them for their potential to do the work? No. You pay them for the work they actually do. So, how do you escape this prison of potential? You must learn to love the process, not just the dream of the final result. You have to be willing to be a beginner. You have to be willing to be bad at something at first. The first version of anything is often not very good. The first draft of a book is always messy. The first version of a new product always has problems. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of action. It is a sign of courage. Your resume is not a list of your potential. It is a list of things you have done. Your legacy, what you leave behind, will not be your good intentions. It will be your finished actions. Stop telling people what you are going to do. Start showing them. The world is not moved by your potential. It is moved by what you create. Truth number 7. Your relationships are like a mirror. We often think about our relationships as being about other people. We think about their mistakes, their bad habits, their actions. We spend so much time thinking about what our partner did wrong, or what our friend said that hurt us, or why our boss is so difficult to work with. The finger is always pointing out at them. The important truth is that the condition of your relationships is often a direct reflection of your relationship with yourself. It is like a mirror. The kind of people you have in your life, the same problems that happen again and again, they are a mirror showing you your own inner world. They show you your own unsolved problems. They show you what you believe about your own value. This is a gentle idea, not a hard one. It is about self-awareness, not blame. For example, if you have a deep belief inside that you are not worthy of love, you might find people who are critical of you or people who are not emotionally available. This is not conscious. It happens without you realizing it. Remember, your brain wants your story to be true. So it will look for people who treat you the way you secretly believe you deserve to be treated. Then, when they disappoint you, a part of you says, "See, I knew it. Nobody really stays. Nobody really loves me." It is a self-fulfilling prophecy, a story that makes itself come true. Here's another example. If you do not respect your own time and your own boundaries, you might find people who take advantage of your kindness. You might say yes when you really want to say no. You might let people cross your boundaries. Then you feel angry and like a victim. But the problem is not only them. Part of the problem is your own difficulty in saying, "My needs are important. My time is valuable. This is a boundary, and please do not cross it." People learn how to treat you based on how you treat yourself. Think about the patterns in your relationships, the things that happen again and again. Do you always find people that you need to fix or save? This might be a mirror. It might reflect your own need to feel in control. Or maybe you get your feeling of self-worth from being a helper because you don't feel valuable just being you. Are all your friendships very surface level? not very deep. This might be a mirror reflecting your own fear of being truly seen. Maybe you are worried that if people see the real you, they will not like you. I went through a time in my life when I was surrounded by very negative and cynical people. They complained all the time. I used to complain about how much their negative energy was draining me. I felt like a victim of their bad attitude. The painful but helpful realization came when I finally looked in the mirror. I saw that my own way of thinking had become very negative. I was feeling insecure. I was using sarcasm to protect myself. I was attracting people who were on the same frequency as me. They were not the main problem. They were a symptom of my problem. When I started to do the difficult work of changing my own mindset, when I started practicing gratitude, when I started focusing on what was good in my life, when I started to be more open and less sarcastic, something amazing happened. My social circle started to change naturally. Some of the negative friends just slowly drifted away, and I started to meet and connect with more positive, supportive people. I did not change them. I changed me. And the reflection in the mirror changed too. So the next time you are feeling upset about a problem in a relationship that keeps happening, take a gentle pause. Stop pointing the finger outward for a moment and look in the mirror with kindness. Ask yourself, what part of me is this situation reflecting? What fear inside me is allowing this to happen? What am I not giving to myself that I am asking from other people? Your relationships are one of the best ways to learn about yourself. They are a great tool for personal growth. If you do not like the reflection you see, do not try to break the mirror. Change yourself. Truth number 8, sleep is your superpower. In our busy modern culture, sleep is often not respected. Some people see sleep as a waste of valuable time, or they see it as a sign of weakness. We hear stories about successful people who only sleep for 4 hours a night. We sometimes act like being tired is a good thing. We wear our exhaustion like a prize. We say things like, "I will sleep when I am dead." This is a very sad and ironic thing to say, because not sleeping enough can make that day come sooner. Here is the simple scientific truth. If you consistently do not get enough sleep, you are making yourself less intelligent, weaker, and sicker. Sleep is not just your body turning off. It is an active and very important maintenance process. It is when your body and your brain repair themselves. To treat sleep as something you can skip is like owning a very expensive race car, but putting cheap, bad gas in it and never taking it to the mechanic. Eventually, the engine will break. When you are sleeping, your brain is very busy. It is doing a very important job. It is cleaning itself. It cleans out waste that builds up during the day. This waste is linked to serious diseases like Alzheimer's. So sleep helps protect your future brain. Your brain also processes your feelings and organizes your memories when you sleep. It moves important information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. This is why studying all night for an exam is not a good idea. If you do not sleep, the information does not stick in your brain. The negative effects of not sleeping are huge. When you lack sleep, your ability to pay attention is lower. Your judgment is worse. your decision making is not as good. In fact, studies show that if you are awake for just 18 hours straight, your brain works as if you have been drinking alcohol. After 24 hours of no sleep, it's like you are legally drunk. You would never go to an important meeting at work if you were drunk. But millions of us go to work every day in a similar state because we did not sleep enough. We think we are working hard, but we are not working smart. And it's not just your brain. Lack of sleep damages your whole body. It disrupts the hormones that control your hunger, which can lead to weight gain. It makes your immune system weaker, so you get sick more often. It increases your blood pressure and your risk of heart problems. I used to be one of those people. I used to think I was too busy to sleep. I would work late into the night, feeling proud of my hard work. I thought my anxiety was just drive and ambition. In reality, the work I did late at night was not good work. It was often full of mistakes. I would have to spend the next morning fixing it. I was often irritable and could not focus. I lived in a constant brain fog. I was in a state of being drunk from exhaustion, and I called it productivity. The big change for me came when I started to treat sleep as a non-negotiable part of my life. I made it a top priority. I set a strict bedtime for myself. I created a relaxing routine before bed. No phone, just a book and some tea. The results were not slow. They were immediate. My focus came back. My creativity returned. My mood became much more stable and happy. I was getting more done in 6 focused hours of work after a good night's sleep than I ever did in 10 exhausted hours of work before. I was not losing time by sleeping. I was gaining high quality, effective, and happy time. Please stop seeing sleep as a cost. It is an investment in your well-being. It is the foundation for everything else in your life. There is no hack or shortcut around a basic biological need. Making it a priority to get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is not lazy. It is the smartest productivity strategy there is. It is the best form of self-care. Sleep is not for the weak. It is for the wise. Truth. Number 9. Failure is not the end. It is a lesson. From the time we are very young, we are taught that failure is a bad thing. Getting a bad grade at school is something to be ashamed of. Making a mistake is embarrassing. Being rejected feels painful. We learn this lesson so well that as adults, most of us are very afraid of failing. So, we play it safe. We stay in our comfort zones. We choose the path that has the lowest chance of failure. But that path also has the lowest chance for growth. The important truth is that our whole idea of failure is wrong. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of success. Failure is not a final judgment on you as a person. It is just data. It is information. It is feedback. It is a sign that is pointing you in a new direction. The only real failure is not doing anything at all. The only real shame is being so afraid to fail that you do not even try. That is the only choice that guarantees you will stay in the same place forever. Think about a scientist in a laboratory. She has a theory. She does an experiment to test her theory, and the experiment fails. It doesn't work. Does she throw away her lab coat and quit science forever? Of course not. A failed experiment is very valuable. It gives her important information. It tells her what does not work. This helps her get closer to what does work. It is a very important piece of data. So she changes her theory a little bit, and she runs a new experiment. This is the scientific method: hypothesis, experiment, failure, which is data, and try again. This is also the formula for all success and achievement in human history. The most successful people in the world have failed more times than most of us have even tried. Michael Jordan is a very famous basketball player. Many people say he is the best ever. But he was cut from his high school basketball team. The coach told him he was not good enough. J.K. Rowling wrote the Harry Potter books. They are some of the most popular books ever, but 12 different publishers rejected her book. They all said no. James Dyson invented the famous bagless vacuum cleaner. He made over 5,000 failed prototypes before he created the one that worked. 5,000 failures. These people are not successful in spite of their failures. They are successful because of their failures. Each failure was a lesson. Each failure was a piece of data. Each failure was a stepping stone on the path to success. We live in a culture that loves to show only the good parts. We see the final result. We see the overnight success. We see the person who looks like a genius. We do not see the thousands of hours of practice. We do not see the hundreds of rejections. We do not see the mountain of failed attempts that came before the success. I want to invite you to change your relationship with failure. Start to see it not as an end, but as a beginning, as a piece of data. When you try something and it does not work out the way you wanted, change your language. Do not say, "I failed." Instead, say, "I ran an experiment and that was the result. What did I learn?" This small change in words is very powerful. It takes the personal feeling of shame out of the experience. It turns a painful moment into a valuable lesson. If you are not failing sometimes, you are not pushing yourself. You are not growing. You are not testing your limits. You are staying still. Your comfort zone feels safe, but it is a cage. And failure is the key to open the cage. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Try something new. You don't need to feel 100% confident to start. If you wait for 100% confidence, you will wait forever. The feeling of a single failure is temporary. You learn from it and you move on. But the pain of looking back on your life and knowing you never really tried for your dreams because you were scared, that is a permanent and very heavy regret. So go out there and try. And if you fail, that is okay. Fail with courage. Because every failure is just data. It is moving you one step closer to where you want to be. The only thing to be afraid of is the fear that stops you from doing anything at all. Truth number 10. A lot of stress is very bad for you. In our culture, being stressed is sometimes seen as a good thing. Being so busy and so stressed out can be a way to show that we are important. We talk about the hustle and the grind like they are heroic things. We sometimes treat our bodies like machines. We think they can run at 100% speed all the time. We ignored all the warning lights that are flashing on our dashboard. The important truth is that this is a dangerous way to live. Your body is not a machine. It is a biological organism. It is alive. Your body is designed to handle stress for a short time. This is the fight or flight response. If you see a danger, your body gets ready to fight or to run away. This is very helpful for survival. But our bodies are not built to handle stress for a long time. This is called chronic stress. When the threat is not a tiger, but a never-ending list of emails, or a difficult boss, or constant worries about money, the stress alarm in your body never turns off. When this happens, your body is always full of stress hormones like cortisol. It is like your body is swimming in a chemical soup of stress day after day, and this is very damaging. This long-term stress is very bad for your health. It makes your immune system weaker, so you get sick more often. It can cause problems with your stomach. It can cause inflammation in your body, which is related to many serious diseases. It can lead to feelings of anxiety and depression. It can even affect your memory. And very dangerously, it puts a lot of strain on your heart. It increases your risk for high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. Chronic stress is a silent killer. It quietly harms your health from the inside. For a long time in my life, I wore my stress like a badge of honor. I was proud of how much I could handle. I thought it meant I was strong and important. I worked 12-hour days. I was fueled by coffee and anxiety. I confused this feeling with ambition. The crash came. It came in the form of complete burnout. I was exhausted all the time. I was getting sick constantly. I could not focus on my work. My relationships were suffering. My body was screaming at me to stop. But I had forgotten how to listen to it. To recover, I had to completely change my idea of success. I realized that a successful life was not about how much stress I could endure. A successful life was about how much peace I could create. I started to include stress management practices in my daily life. These were not luxuries. They were non-negotiable. Things like taking a walk in nature every day, practicing 10 minutes of quiet mindfulness, setting firm boundaries around my work hours, learning how to say the word no. These things were not extra. They were survival tools. They were the medicine for the poison of chronic stress I had been giving myself for years. The goal is not to have zero stress in your life. That is impossible. Life will always have challenges. The goal is to build recovery and rest into your daily life. It is about learning to notice when your body is in stress mode, and then consciously choosing to do something to calm your nervous system down. Your health is your greatest treasure. It is your most valuable asset. Without your health, all the success and money in the world mean nothing. Stop thinking that being busy and stressed is a good thing. Stop thinking that burnout is a normal price to pay for success. Your body is keeping score. And if you continue to ignore its signals, it will eventually give you a bill that you cannot pay. Truth number 11. The perfect time to start is now. I will start my own business when the economy gets better. I will write my book when I have a long, free vacation. I will ask that person on a date when I feel more confident. I will travel the world when my children are older. We tell ourselves these kinds of stories all the time. They sound very logical. They sound responsible. But most of the time, they are just beautiful lies. They are excuses we use to avoid taking a risk. They are ways we keep ourselves safe inside our comfort zone. The important truth is this: the perfect time is a fantasy. It does not exist. There will never be a day when all the lights are green. There will never be a moment when the path ahead is completely clear of all problems. Life does not work that way. Waiting for the perfect time is a very sneaky kind of procrastination. It is a quiet way of saying no to your own dreams. Life is messy, and it will always be messy. There will always be a good reason not to do something. There will always be another thing that needs your attention. There will always be some fear holding you back. The people who do amazing things in the world are not the ones who waited for the perfect moment. They are the ones who saw an imperfect moment and decided to start anyway. They understood that you do not need to have all the answers to take the first step. You take the first step in order to find the answers. Action creates clarity. Thinking too much creates confusion. You can spend 6 months writing the perfect business plan, but you will learn much more in 1 week of actually trying to sell your product to a real person. You can spend a year creating the perfect outline for your novel, but you will learn more about your story in 1 day of writing a messy first draft. Imperfect action is so much more valuable than perfect inaction. Doing something small and imperfect today is better than waiting for a perfect day that never comes. I know a woman who dreamed of opening her own bakery. For 5 years, she only talked about it. She was always doing research. She researched recipes. She researched locations. She researched how to get money. But the research was her hiding place. It was her way of waiting for the perfect moment. She was afraid to start. Finally, a good friend told her some hard truth. The friend said, "Just bake 1 dozen cupcakes and try to sell them at the local market on Saturday." This idea terrified the woman. It was so small. It was imperfect. It opened her up to the possibility of immediate failure and rejection. But she did it. She baked the cupcakes. She went to the market. And she sold all of them in 1 hour. She got real feedback from real customers. She learned more in those 3 hours than she did in 5 years of research. That small, imperfect action was the spark. It was the beginning of her journey. And today she has her own successful bakery. The future is not known. You cannot plan for every possibility. The only way to move through the uncertainty of life is to start moving. Action creates new opportunities. Opportunities you could never see when you were standing still. It is like driving a car at night. Your headlights only show you the next 200 feet of the road, but you can make the entire journey that way, 200 feet at a time. Stop waiting for a sign from the universe. Stop waiting for permission from someone else. Stop waiting for the fear to go away completely. It will not. The only way to beat the fear is to take action even when you are afraid. Whatever it is that you want to do, break it down. Break it down into the smallest possible step. A step you can take today. Not tomorrow. Today. There's a famous saying, "The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now." Truth number 12. Your time is a gift. Use it well. This is the final truth, and it is the most important one. It is the one truth that we spend our whole lives trying to ignore. We build complex distractions to avoid thinking about it. We fill our days with busy work. We chase goals that are not important to us. We numb ourselves with entertainment. We do all of this to forget one simple, inescapable fact. Your time on this earth is limited. You are going to die, and the clock is ticking. Now, this truth is not meant to make you feel sad or depressed. Just the opposite. It is meant to be the ultimate source of clarity. It is a filter. When you look at your life through this filter, it instantly becomes clear. You can see what is truly important, and you can see what is a complete waste of your precious time. Most people live as if they have forever. They live as if they have infinite time. They delay their joy. They put their dreams on a shelf for later. They stay in jobs they hate. They stay in relationships that drain their energy. They always assume that someday they will finally make a change. Someday I will travel. Someday I will learn to play the piano. Someday I will tell my family I love them more often. But what if there is no someday? What if you only have 1 year left? Or 1 month? Or 1 week? When you look at your daily life through the lens of your own mortality, the smallness of most of our worries is clear. The fear of what other people might think of you, the pain of a small rejection, the desire to have a little more status or a nicer car. All of these things turn to dust when you remember your time is limited. A famous innovator named Steve Jobs gave a speech about this. He said that remembering he would be dead soon was the most important tool he had. It helped him make the big choices in life. He said that almost everything, all the outside expectations, all the pride, all the fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away when you face death, and only what is truly important remains. This truth forces you to ask the most important question of your life. Am I living a life that is true to myself? Or am I living the life that other people expect of me? There was a nurse named Bronnie Ware. She worked for many years with people who were dying. She listened to their stories, and she wrote down their biggest regrets from their lives. The number one regret was not, I wish I had made more money. It was not, I wish I had been more famous. The number one regret, the most common one of all, was this. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. This is the final truth that holds all the other truths together. Why should you get off the treadmill of chasing new things? Because your time is too precious to waste on happiness that doesn't last. Why should you choose commitment over waiting for motivation? Because it is the only way to build something that matters in the short time you have. Why should you risk failure? Because the regret of not trying is a much heavier burden to carry to the end of your life. Thinking about your death is not about being negative. It is about waking up. It is like a gentle but firm wake-up call. It helps you to stop sleepwalking through your one and only precious life. It is the ultimate call to action. So I will ask you a question. If you learned today that you only had 1 year left to live, what would you change? Who would you spend more time with? What would you stop doing immediately? What dreams would you finally chase? Now here's the real question. Why are you waiting? These 12 truths are not meant to feel heavy. They are not a prison sentence. They are meant to be a key to set you free, a key to help you unlock a life that feels more real, more you. They are a gentle reminder that the happiness from a new purchase will fade, but the joy of learning a skill can last a lifetime. They are a call to build your life on the strong foundation of commitment, not on the soft sand of motivation. They are a guide to design a space that helps you, a challenge to write a new story for yourself, and a quiet plea to honor your body's need for rest. They are permission to see failure as a teacher, to manage your stress, and to stop waiting for a perfect moment that will never arrive. And most of all, they are an urgent, loving reminder that your time is the only true currency you have. Every single day, you are spending it. The only question is, are you spending it on what truly matters to you? These truths can feel difficult because they give you responsibility. They take away the excuses. They help you see that you are the architect of your own life. You can keep climbing the ladder that society gave you, or you can have the courage to stop and check if that ladder is leaning against the right wall for you. You can keep living someone else's script, or you can pick up the pen and bravely write your own ending. The choice has always been yours. The only difference is now you know the clock is ticking, and that is a beautiful, powerful, and liberating thing. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I hope these truths were helpful for you. If one of these truths really connected with you, I would love to hear about it. Please leave a comment below. Which of these 12 truths was the most meaningful for you today? I read every single comment. Your stories inspire me so much. And if you enjoyed this episode, please tap the like or follow button. It is the best way to support the podcast, and it helps more wonderful learners like you find us. Remember to be kind to yourself on your journey. Learning and growing takes time. You are doing a great job. Thank you again for listening. See you next time, my friend.